Hey, gun nuts. I want to come to you guys today and talk about the tragedies that we've recently experienced in our country. We had a tragic shooting in El Paso, Texas. Also, less than 24 hours later, we had another tragic shooting in Dayton, Ohio. The El Paso, Texas shooting, there were 20 people approximately that lost their lives, countless others injured. And the Dayton, Ohio shooting was at a nightclub. Because the person was denied entry into the club, they shot 10 people and injured countless others. I don't want to give any of these cowards or pieces of excrement any recognition on my platform. None whatsoever. They don't deserve it. I do want to talk about when I woke up this morning and found out, because I was completely shocked that I would wake up and hear that there was another shooting so soon and so tragic. But of course, when these things happen, you have the political rhetoric that comes out from the politicians and on social media. So I feel like I need to address this because we had Beto O'Rourke and Julian Castro were speaking. And of course, they were talking about common sense gun control, universal background checks, a waiting period, and all these other things. The Second Amendment is a right, a constitutional right, not a privilege, like, say, a driver's license, which is revocable. This is a right. So I think that it's important that we as the gun community speak up so that our rights are protected, the rights of the victims of these shootings are protected, and the rights of every American are protected. So when I get to think about it, I Googled universal background checks, right? So I pulled that up this morning and I Googled it, and it talked about a universal background check would more or less affect private sales. So if I were to take a firearm and say, hey, the gun shop is not going to give me fair value, the pawn shop's not going to give me fair value, I'm going to sell it to a private citizen. That's where they would say you have to go and have this gun ran through a background check. It may cost you a few dollars, but I think that's we have the NICS system. So they keep saying we don't have anything in place as though you can just walk into a store, buy a gun, and walk right out. It does not happen. They stoke fear and they stoke emotion. And that's why I got a little emotional, because I'm a supporter of the Second Amendment. I'm not wearing this shirt to try to poke fun or antagonize anybody that was a victim of the shooting. But I think it's a right that has to be protected. Now, when they talk about all these things about the mass shootings and everything, I do ponder about Chicago. Any town that has changed its name and slang to Chirac, you ought to pay some attention to, because something's wrong. If you can have 44 people shot in one weekend and die, to include a 3-year-old, but where was all the political rhetoric? Where was all the news coverage? Oh, that's right. It was in the hood. It was gang related. How many of these gangsters and the people in the hood that done these shootings with illegal firearms do you think bought them legally? But the first thing they want to do is say, hey, you as a legal firearm owner have to register your guns. You need a waiting period. You need a universal background check. The key thing is that a criminal is not going to do a background check. A criminal does not care about the first gun law, the second gun law, or new gun laws that you enact. They just don't. That's why they're criminals. The other thing is, there's a black market for firearms in this country and every country. You can get guns without having to go through illegal means. So if these things exist, whereas there's a black market, and criminals who don't care about the law anyway, why would you come after the legal gun owners' rights? The other thing is the gun show loophole. I've been to countless gun shows. Countless. And every time I've wanted to purchase a firearm, I've had to go through a background check. I had to. That vendor could not even be there if they weren't doing background checks as far as selling firearms. The intent of the criminal is just that, their intent. If it's a knife, a gun, an explosive, whatever, if they want to do harm, that's what they're going to do. Why are you attacking the tool? Why not attack the issue? If there's no Second Amendment, you can't protect any of your other amendments. The First Amendment is already under attack in this country. You can't say this, you can't say that. You're a bigot, you're a racist, you're a homophobe, you're a xenophobe if you say certain things. And then on those grounds, it's damn near like you can be convicted of being a xenophobe, homophobe, or bigot or racist just off what you said with no proof, no due process or anything. My solution to try to help combat some of this, because us in the gun community, we do not like these mass shootings. We don't like any shooting other than sport, recreation, and what we do with firearms and protection. But why don't you guys, every time like Beto O'Rourke and all these other news politicians and all this other media coverage, I didn't see one person there from the Second Amendment community speaking on our behalf, because it wouldn't be beneficial to their cause. I wonder if Beto wasn't even running for president, would he have had anything to say at all? But I want to nominate Colion Noir because, one, he has a law background. He's a lawyer. Two, he has a firearms background. He understands our stance on this. So he can speak intelligently, minusing the emotion of the situation. And maybe we can come to a solution to stop these issues that's going on. Hopefully you guys will want to do that. If you don't want Colion, there's countless other organizations. There's NAGA, which is the National African American Gun Association. There is the USCCA. There is the Gun Owners of America. And there's probably some out there that I don't even know about that are trying to help gain ground on these things and to protect our rights. But you can't just come out and say, oh, well, you know, something happened that's taking away people's rights. Oh, I'm sorry, taking away people's lives. And now we want to take your right. There are plenty of car accidents in this country from drunk drivers, but you haven't gone after alcohol. You haven't gone after a driver's license. You haven't gone after vehicles. But you want to go after the gun. You want to go after the tool. The Second Amendment falls. You can't protect your other amendment. You can't protect your other constitutional rights. You can't. So, in closing, I just want to say, you know, continue to pray for all the victims of the shootings, and share this, like this, subscribe, leave a comment. If you say, homeboy, you kind of off the mark with this, and I think you need to go sit down somewhere, or you could say, hey, homeboy, I think you're right. You know, we got to do something, but it's got to be something that benefits both sides. It can't be the gun community has to give up like we always do. You just have to give up the right to do this. You have to give up your right to do that. You have to give up your ability to buy this or buy that or have this. Okay? So if you guys know any politicians out there, or you guys know anybody that's in the media, share this video with them. And let's get somebody to the table like Colion Noir, or somebody from one of the other organizations that can speak on our behalf. And let's get a solution to these issues, whether it be the new thing is white supremacy, that these are white supremacists and racists that are doing all the shootings, or, you know, it's mental health issues. Whatever it is, we need to stop it. Okay? Once again, gun nuts, please pray for everybody involved in all the victims in the shootings. And I hope God continues to bless you all, and I hope that you have happy shooting.